Hi guys, how are you? I hope you're well. I'm well myself and still following on this journey, doing the altars that were fighting us, yeah? And so I have given you so much of a background, and in the last in the last video that I did, I showed you how we came into some witchcraft, and when my husband came, we had a major fight, yeah? And so like we felt like this was tearing us apart. He went back in 2014, yeah? And so 2014 would turn out to be like a very difficult year. That I even lost hope, yeah? Like I was like, I don't think, it was a very difficult year. Yeah, I'm sorry about how this light is working out. Yeah, so anyway, so my husband goes away in 2014, January 9th. And so we keep talking, we keep trying to keep in touch and just try to swing our lives back to the normal that we had developed when through long distance, yeah? So every day Skype calls, at least the world was changing very, very fast in our times, yeah? So there were video calls or what we call FaceTiming. There was WhatsApp, all of these things. So we would keep in communication and just trying so hard to just get a semblance of our normalcy, right? But we did not know it, but a lot had shifted, okay? And in April of 2014, just close to my birthday, my husband called me and he was so different. Like he was so depressed. He was just so unhappy. And he told me he's so tired. He's so disoriented. And he feels like he really cannot see himself spending another birthday away. Yeah. And he feels like everything that he knows has changed. He is like, and I would ask him, like, what used to make you happy? How did you used to survive before? And he would tell me he used to get so much pleasure out of coming home and cooking for himself, just doing his routines and all. But he feels like everything has changed. He's not finding joy in anything. And he feels like we have been so compromised, and it's like we keep just drawing further and further apart. He feels like he's losing hope. And he feels like he doesn't feel the same way about me anymore. And now this distance is making it worse, because even when we fight, we don't have time to make up and just, we get back into each other's graces, yeah? And so as he's saying these things, I'm panicking because I'm so scared of what he's about to say, right? And he tells me that he's really not feeling me and not feeling his mom. We are so demanding. We're just putting him in a bad headspace. The only people he's loving in this season are his children, okay? And so I'm taking this information, and it's like I had felt it coming, yeah? Now, what is funny is that I think in the following days, or it could have been before, there was a couple I used to admire online, yeah? And this lady came to buy a cake from me, yeah? And I told her, like, hey, I really admire you guys as a couple. And she told me, look, you won't believe it, but we are no longer together. And I'm like, what? Yeah, we are just not announcing it on Facebook because they were running some pages, but we are not together. And so I get so shocked, and I tell my husband, and he's like, yeah, that's what happens. Now I'm telling him, we used to have like this night talks, because during the time I'm going to sleep, I think he's left school or something, yeah, because we had 7-hour difference, or 8, yeah, depending on whether it's winter or summer, okay? And so I feel like this guy, how come those things don't scare you the way they used to scare us, yeah? Like people break up, where do they even get the strength, yeah? So we used to agree on such things. People really shouldn't break up. People should always find a way to work things out. And I'm like, this guy is reacting like this is normal. This is scary. And so I think it's that night or some nights after, I dream that, okay, so for you to understand this dream, I will tell you something. Before my husband went to Canada, he hadn't trained in driving. We didn't have a car to practice on. He had never just done driving, yeah. But he went and learned there, and in his coming back and forth, he would drive, yeah. So he would come and hire a vehicle so we can be able to go to Ushago, up country. We can be able to go to like vacation spots. Just make it easy for us to, move around, yeah. But we had never made enough money to buy our own car, or for me to buy a car, yeah. But he had a car because in the first years, he really was walking on foot, yeah. And because he's such a good child of God, God eventually blessed him. After his first visit, he was able to buy a car, albeit like Canada has these cheap cars you can buy like for $1,000, yeah. But you have to work your way there, right? Okay, so he bought a car, and yeah, happy for him. We were always so happy for each other for whatever accomplishment, yeah. But yeah, for me, I had not arrived at that place because cars in Kenya were really expensive. Look, we were not making like so much money that we could live in luxury, but at least now we had some luxury, yeah, which was actually really upsetting for him because now he was coughing up so much more money for rent, and now the schools that the kids were attending were private, and Mike is now in high school, okay? So this is the first year, the second year that Mike was in high school, but we had transferred him under God's leading. Yeah, the school he was in 2013 wasn't so good. So I like God had told me one day, go to Nyeri, and I went and looked and found Nyeri High. Yeah. So in that year, 2013, a lot had happened, yeah. When this man of God came and introduced Isaiah 54:2 to me, he had set something in motion, okay? So in 2014, I've gone through all this, but I don't understand, but I know like God has, told me, go to Nyeri and look for a school. So my child is in that school, and he's now improving in so many ways that I used to think only the dad can solve, yeah. So my husband leaving, and I told you he was so close to the kids, he raised them, yeah. So him leaving had affected all our children, each in different ways, and now this firstborn I couldn't handle, because he felt like responsible for us, like he has to take care of us, and he's beaten, yeah. He's like, this is too much anyway, and he was a child anyway. He was in class 5 when the dad was leaving. So my friend, in 2014, my husband tells me this, and he feels like he's withdrawing from me, like he doesn't feel like the love we used to have the same anymore, yeah? So I'm like, what are you saying? Are you breaking up with me? And he says, it seems so. So anyway, he had never driven, and this time he was driving, and I was so scared because I never used to see him drive, yeah? I'm mixing a lot of stories there. I'm overflowing. But let me try and compose myself and just go step by step. So whenever he came, he would be driving, right? And he's driving okay, but sometimes I would just get so much anxious when he's driving, yeah? So I'd be so scared when he's driving. Like there was so much anxiety inside of me. It was like demonic kind of anxiety, okay? And so I would make him feel so bad that I don't believe that he can drive us, yeah? But I come along for all the trips, yeah? Anyway, so I dream, yeah? I dream on this night after these events, yeah? I dream that my husband is driving us along Jogoo Road. Jogoo Road, as you're coming to Donholm, used to crisscross with the train tracks, yeah? So the train tracks would pass smack right in the, on the road, yeah? So they used to close the rail when the vehicles are coming. Or when the train is coming, there's a way, like there's that communication, yeah. So it was then, yeah, when the railroad was crisscrossing when the train tracks were crisscrossing the road, yeah. But now it's built different. So now Jogoo Road has a flyover where the vehicles pass on top and the train tracks are under. So the train passes under, okay. So I'm bugging him. I'm like, you're driving too fast. This is so scary. You need to stop. And now he gets so angry that when we reach there at the train tracks, just before we reach Donholm and then now, take a corner towards Umoja, he swerves into the train tracks, okay? So he swerves there, and then I see from the side mirror, you know how, like, as a passenger, you can see through your side mirror, yeah? I see the service tram coming through, yeah? Just the head that goes ahead and just, like, does, checks what's on the rail, yeah? Just the service tram, okay? So it comes behind us and it knocks us out of the train tracks. And I'm screaming so hard. I'm like so scared, yeah? So it knocks us off and we enter into a swamp, okay? Behind the Buruburu estate. It should be Buruburu phase 5 or 4, yeah? But just behind, like the estate there is Buruburu, okay? So the back of it, yeah? And this other side we are on, it's like the train tracks and the road, the main road, borders Umoja Estate. And just at the corner there is Donholm and Tena, okay? So for Kenyans, they know those areas, yeah? So we enter a swamp. And as it's going to enter the swamp, I jump out, yeah? So I jump out of the car, I'm screaming. This is so traumatizing. And I'm like, how did this guy, make this decision? Like, did I make him that angry? But I still love my husband, and this is my family going down, yeah? So I go into the Buruburu estate and I'm screaming and calling everyone who can hear, come, help me, my family has fallen into the swamp. And so they rush out, they come out and they help. And so they start fetching the kids out of the swamp, yeah? I don't even know how they were doing it, but they were doing it so easily, yeah? And it's like the car had not gone all the way in. And so they're fetching the kids out. So Michael comes out, Tamwa and Tosh. And then just when they're about to go retrieve my husband, the car sinks in deeper. And I'm screaming and I'm telling them, my husband is in that car. He's going to drown. And they tell me, Yongumu, that is so hard. We can't retrieve your husband. Just let it go. He's gone. And I'm like, what? No, he can't have died in that time, and I'm like just willing him to come up, like fight, and the people all go away. And I'm like, in my dream mind, I will have to get him out. And I'm thinking, like, this is up to me now, yeah? So the dream ends as I'm thinking of how I will get him out, okay? So put a pin on that. We are entering 2014, and I tell my husband about this dream, and he's like, yeah, it happens. And I'm like, dude, you fell into a swamp. What do you mean this happens? And he's like, it's just a dream, but yeah, the way I'm feeling is like I've entered that swamp, and it seems he doesn't care. Now it's me. It's up to me to know, what does this swamp mean and how am I going to get him out? Yeah, because I realized this dream is so true. Okay, this guy has entered a swamp. Okay, and so so the days keep going, and this guy is telling me this, and I'm asking, he keeps communication on, yeah? I'm asking him, how do you feel, yeah? And he's telling me he doesn't love me or his mother. And I'm like, this guy actually just admitted he doesn't love me. What is going to happen? This was the guy of all seasons, the man of all seasons, yeah? Even when it gets bad, he's the one who gets us out of things, yeah? So I'm like devastated, yeah? I'm torn. This is crazy, okay? But, that spirit I talked about, that Kikuyu woman, I'm like, if I can even allow this in my mind, I have to find a way to survive, okay? So this guy is acting like he doesn't care, and he's now moving away. And so I start now thinking about these things, and it's like I'm praying. In fact, that night when he told me that, I just went, down from the bed, and I'm praying, and I'm like, God, save my husband, save us. I don't know what is happening. Now I'm crying to God. Yeah, now this is so devastating. This is beyond me. And now I start now even Googling how to handle disappointment and all that. I'm like, I have to find a lifeline back to being in charge and just now taking, control of things, yeah? And the next day, I'm like, no, this did not, it's like a dream, yeah? And so I started, to, talking to him, chatting him, like very long messages, yeah? Scrolls and scrolls, yeah? New Testament, Old Testament. I'm writing to my man. I want to tell him, you guy, this cannot just end. It's me and you, right? Like, it's us. We used to have this bond. How can we let go of this, yeah? And it's sinking in, this guy is serious. In the times I used to think this guy, like, he can never get mad at me enough for us to come here. And when it's so bad, he's the one always saving us. Things have changed, yeah? And so this message is sinking in. And I'm like, something is so wrong, yeah? And so we continue going on. And as I begin to pray, I now even start now, like I'm in Facebook, joining these prayer groups. And now people are teaching about prayer altars. I mean, altars in your father's house, altars in your mother's house. They're teaching all these things, yeah? But there was no clarity of how these things actually happen. So we are learning, we are eager. And I'm even getting in contact with some leaders of some groups and asking, and they would give me like prayer points, yeah? And so as we go on, yeah, I'm praying, I'm getting into fast, yeah, although I didn't understand, I was just fasting, 7-day fast, 3-day fast, yeah, and I build my my momentum to up to where I'm doing 3 days Esther's fast. Let me tell you, I almost got abusive with fast, yeah. I would do 3-day fast just to stay hungry, telling myself that I won't take water or anything, just so that, because I can, yeah, like I can do that. And so I start fasting like this. And like whenever I talk to my husband, I tell him I'm praying, and he's like, why are you doing all this? Just making yourself hungry. And for what? Yeah. Let things just work themselves out. And I already prayed. I told God, let his will be done. Okay. But I needed to do this for my own sanity, and I want my husband back. Suddenly, the mouth that was saying, I don't even care about this marriage, you can go if you want, now is claiming, like making a turn around, yeah? I'm asking God, please save my marriage, you know, and just, you know, consecrating like, you know, crazy. Now I'm starving my physical man. I'm praying, you know, I'm praying. I want my husband back. I want the father of my children back. And now it begins to seem like no matter what I do, despite the long tests and emails and photos, I'm sending photos. I want us back together. Look at how beautiful we are as, you know, like him and the boys. I want you guys together like this. And he tells me, like, he was so patient. He tells me, dude, I'm never going to abandon you guys. And I understand that you have dreams to pursue too. So once I am done with this, because I used to even say, like, let me join you abroad. Leave the kids for a bit. We make money, and I will, you know, we will come back and take them. And coincidentally, my husband had grown up with some kids that their parents left in search of greener pastures, yeah? And he was like, no, I don't want that to be my kids, yeah? Because these kids were always depressed, getting so much abuse from the people who are left in charge, yeah? People are never willing to take care of your children, but they will say yes because of the money that comes for upkeep, yeah? And these kids would be given like just a small percentage of this money, and the person who was you know, handling the issue was just so bad to them, yeah? So it was like, that can never be my children. We won't live with them with any relative. So it's either you have the children or I have the children. And so I'm fighting. I'm like, you don't even believe in me as a wife. How come you believe in me to take care of the kids? And at that point, I'm feeling like I cannot do anything, okay? And so I go through that process, and then these things started happening, yeah? I would dream of a woman, like my husband is with a woman, and because, like, the explanation I have now is, when people are abroad, we assume they will run away with a white woman, yeah? So I would never see this woman's face, yeah? But I would see how far removed my husband is when walking with this woman. They are shopping and doing stuff, you know? And this woman, or somewhere around in the vicinity, she would either be wearing a tan brown top, yeah? Or there would just be a tan brown thing in the vicinity, yeah? And so I'm like, who is this woman? So whenever I dream that, I get out of bed and pray, and then enter another fast, okay? And so one time I had a dream, yeah? I had a very distinct dream. In this dream, my husband is holding one of our children. It seemed like, yeah, it was just a child. And I'm assuming it's the last baby because he's quite small, yeah? So he's holding him and he's looking so torn. And there are some kids surrounding them, yeah? So, like, I'm assuming it's our children plus others, yeah? And so I come and I'm approaching my husband, yeah? And this woman just comes out of nowhere and she's fighting me. And for the life of me, I can't tell you if this is a white Indian, Asian or black woman. I do not know. Yeah. But she seems like light. Yeah. Like this. And she's big, yeah, like she's so much bigger than me, tall, with a very, like she's strong in stature. She has a presence. As she came like this, she was like, you know, like she could stand between us, and I would even see my husband on the other side, like she was bigger, yeah. And so she's fighting me, right? And the things that she's saying are quite ridiculous. She's telling me, this is my husband, okay, she was saying, this is my husband, even our bodies look alike, yeah. And I'm like, okay. So she's like pulling at him, and she's like, she's telling him, show her, our bodies are alike, we are alike, yeah. This is my husband, we are alike. And I'm like, okay, so okay, I didn't even come to fight, I was just approaching, my husband, right? And she's like, this is my husband, you go away, and all that. So she was fighting me. Yeah, I'm like, oh my God. So the way this dream came was so distinct, and I was like, okay, this is warfare, all right? And I've told you about the chosen ones in the family, and when they are attacked, they don't even fight back. They always walk away, yeah? So it's like I'm walking away, and I'm so confused, like, why isn't this man talking? So put a pin on that dream. But what I did is get out of bed. And look, I'm not educated in how to deal with dreams. I got out of bed. I went into my closet. I had printed the prayer points from these Facebook groups, yeah? And I come across a prayer point about the strange woman, okay? So I'm declaring it. I'm shouting. I'm crying. I'm praying. And I'm making declarations. Like God just put this power in me. And I fought that. And I canceled it. And I said, this man is not going anywhere. But now in the physical, now I'm not even telling him these dreams. In the physical, I'm like, I have to go. Like, whatever is fighting me is stronger than me. But I told him about this dream where he's shopping with someone, yeah? So he's like, no, no. That is crazy, and those are just dreams, yeah? And so I begin to see this man as he's talking to me. He's very beat, yeah? Like the wind has been knocked out of him. This guy is struggling, yeah? And so I start like having care. Like now it's like he's pulling me to care for him, yeah? And so I start caring. Like I'm no longer just writing and just telling him how amazing we are together. I keep asking him now, how are you feeling? Did you eat today? Did you cook? And during the day, I'm like, why are you doing this? Because it's like you're abandoning yourself and just now caring for this man. Now my body is even aching. I'm losing iron. Like my bones are getting like sort of brittle, yeah? I've been fasting like a crazy woman. I don't see anything changing. Everything I write to him, he doesn't, he doesn't respond like he wants to be with me, right? I'm looking for a sign. You know the way Jesus said, you're a cursed generation that is always looking for a sign. But I don't know the rest, yeah? But please put it in the comments if you can, yeah? God is telling me that there's going to be momentum, and you guys, as you watch, I know you'll be engaged, yeah? And so... So I'm like declaring all these things. Where did I stop? Yeah. So I'm asking him like, how are you feeling? And I'm feeling like I can understand. Yeah. So I start praying now, changing my prayer to, God help me, God guide me, God strengthen me, God make me a success. Let them know that I'm not just useless. Okay. Because I was feeling quite useless. And now I start like sending the Spirit of God, go comfort him, yeah? Comfort him. And I could see him like lying in bed. You know the way you lie across and just, lie on your back. You come home, you're so tired, you're so beat, you just fall back on your back, yeah? And so I would like tell God, go collect him and hug him, yeah? So I'm like sending virtual hugs. I'm just praying for him and just, feeling this very unnatural care. But as I try to get to him in the physical, he's not budging. He's like deciding more and more, yeah? And so one day I told God, allow me to feel a bit of that pain that he's feeling so that he's changed his mind like this, yeah? Because I'm asking him, is there another woman? Is there somebody else? And I was feeling like inside me, if I knew the truth, I would allow it to happen, yeah? So I would be like, okay, go, yeah? If you have to marry, just marry. And when you come back, when you come back, you'll take the kids or whatever. But I hope if there's going to be a woman, it's going to be a good woman, okay? a woman who will not make my kids suffer, because the way I know my husband, he will definitely take his children, yeah. And he kept saying, no, there's no woman, there's no woman, there's no woman, okay? Like making me understand, oh, like that is ridiculous, stop that talk, yeah. Like in a way, he blocked it so that I don't keep badgering him over this. But I was convinced there was someone else, yeah, but he's like, stop that, yeah. And the way he's responding, I'm feeling like, yes, I'm just in his space too much, yeah, like I should just step back. And so I continue praying, feeling like this is so, it's just, there's just something so weird about this, yeah. But he keeps making these declarations, I won't abandon you and the kids, yeah, so I'll always be here, and when I'm done with this, I'm coming to take the kids so you can go wherever, I'll even pay for you to go wherever, okay? And so I you know, like I'm getting into this thing, like I'm beginning to like see the sense in it, and I'm thinking, if this man has decided to leave me, there's nothing I can do. So yes, guys, in 2014 I was left, okay? And so I spent the rest of the year just you know, in turmoil, yeah. And I told my friend that I was living near, she was my neighbor, I told her, and I'm crying. And eventually I was telling other people, and there would just be this look of satisfaction in them, yeah. And I don't know, I keep thinking that that look of satisfaction like sort of gave me some fire. And I was like, you guys don't even understand what we've been through. If my husband had to leave, I will let him, because I understand the turmoil this guy has been through, yeah? And I know I caused a lot of this, and they would be like, you know, like I'm not a good enough wife. And let me tell you, most of the women surrounding me were built different, okay? Physically, right? And me, for the longest time, even when I started this YouTube channel, I never wanted to show my body because I'm made like a typical Kikuyu woman. And I used to think that this is the only man who does it, like he's blinded to this, yeah? Although every other person I would meet like would be like crazy about me, right? So I used to be convinced I can actually get a guy even if I'm not like so shapely, right? So the women around me, I told you about some seduction that would go around with particular tribes of people. And I'm saying this why? Listen, you remember how I told you about the generations, yeah? For times that we were so challenged spiritually, there are people who were better in crafts, yeah? In which craft, right? So like when my mom was very sick, she was taken to Ukambani, okay? And I don't know where this new age craft was coming from, because the Agikuyu are like the Jews, yeah? They used to worship God, Guy, you know? And when they worshipped him, they worshipped directly, and they would make sacrifices, if you check in the Old Testament, just like the Jews, yeah? And so for them to do witchcraft, it came from divination, yeah? Like people who could see in the spirit would somehow get corrupted out of not staying close to God, because they would see these other things as so fascinating. So what did they allow these other gods? Now, if you go to Google and search the gods that the Israelites used to pray to, you will find the Asherah, the Dagon, the Baal. And so the Israelites, apart from Jehovah, Elohim, and all his other names, would worship these other two, including a council of old men, okay? So put a pin on that, yeah? So this craft was all over the world, but with, I mean, all over Kenya, yeah? But with different tribes, they would have more. And you know how growing in Africa, we regard some tribes as, you know, witches, yeah? And they're into that craft and they know it more, right? So there were other tribes involved in this, our marriage, who we regarded as our friends and all that. And I would see some of my friends getting shady, and it would give me information like, oh my God, they never actually liked us together, you know? And so it would really shake me, and I would feel like, why have women always challenged me in this, even though they can tell this man has really accepted me? And I'm thinking, okay, turns out they want the same thing, yeah? So we consider it natural in our physical lives when a man is so good, he's learned, he can speak well to people. And if other women want him, we would even let him, because it seems like this woman suits him more, yeah? But like I've told you, the chosen one, God will pair them and hide them in plain sight. Yeah. So now this man is chosen for this battle. So he's fortified by God himself. And whenever, because this guy had been bewitched as a kid, he touched something and he was just swelling. Yeah. And so it happens that his parents took him somewhere where that was taken care of. And apparently he was given some kind of protection. Yeah. So when the witches come to you, yeah, when they set things in motion, they will even send like women around you and men around me, right? Right? Like they will test the man first because we assume that men are weaker beings, yeah, sexually, right? So they will send an attractive woman and assume that this man will just fall into it. And many men fall into it, yeah, especially when there's so many wrangles at home that the women are not even now praying for the men, right? But now God causes you so much pain to be in such pressure that you'll be forced to pray for for this man, yeah. So other times you find like a mother will continuously pray for the son, yeah, especially one who is away. But now this battle has to be fought by the wife, right? So, but the wife is discouraged with everything. And now she's feeling unattractive and ugly. Who does she turn to? The Lord, okay? And so it is in that spirit where I'm so challenged. This guy is not budging. And even if he's telling me that he's feeling weak and I'm like so hopeful that I can come in now and just help him with this, he just like shows me, no. You know, like, no, you're not the one. You also need some care. So he's doing what is necessary, assuring me that no matter what happens. And he kept saying this, and this is something that he had said even before, like when we were married and living with other people. We once lost a neighbor's wife, yeah. And this guy was saying, I will never marry again. And my husband said, yeah, exactly. You should not marry again when your wife dies. And I was like, seriously, with all this, your looks, if I died, you wouldn't marry again. And he's like, oh my God, let me tell you, I'm even amazed that this young man is saying that because that has always been my conviction, yeah. So he's hanging with this guy and there's a cake I have to pack. He's hanging with this guy and he's, fortifying that, yeah. You don't have to marry again. Just take care of your kids, yeah. And so, in this period, I begin now to go back to Isaiah 54, right? And I read that verse that was given to me and I'm thinking, okay, so if this guy is gone, it means he won't come back. And if this guy, because he's hiding it from me, he might get married there, yeah? So if he gets married, what do I have apart from my business? So I have to fortify it. I have to build that thing that was told to me, expand your tents, yeah? Strengthen your cords and lengthen the cords, yeah, and strengthen the sticks, yeah. And in other versions it says extend your house, right? Build an extension for your house. And I'm thinking this means because I work these cakes from the house, I have to now go and look for a shop somewhere, extend my business. And this thing, I'm going to do the hell out of this business. And when I'm coming back up for air, I will be a huge success in Kenya. So it would seem as a shock. I don't know if some of my friends that were close to me when doing this will understand, yeah, but there came a fire upon me where I knew if I'm going to be embarrassed by divorce, I have to stand in business and be a success like all other Gikuyu women, okay? So more to come, but I have to pack a cake for a customer. I'll let you know more on the next one, okay? So you guys keep praying. This is very sensitive matters, but keep praying for me as I'm praying for you. We are coming out of these things because God is merciful, okay? So see you on the next one. Bye-bye.